when we decided what should be included in our navigation system and how to organize them, like when we created our information hierarchy or content hierarchy, basically we need to find a way to represent them in our design. Okay, all different pages, different menus that we need, the local navigation system, global navigation system, pagination, breadcrumbs, and all those things that would be considered as a part of our navigation system. Okay, so it's we have two choices basically here. We either would go with some, let's say, create from scratch kind of things, like we create everything based on the design that we had, or we would be able to find some examples like best practices, UI elements that represent what we are looking for, and then we would be able to use them. So to sum up, let's look at these things, like what a good navigation system should support. Okay, navigation, obviously, placemaking, like it should show where we are, and how, like if you are in a page, we might be landed there from search engine, for example. Okay, so we want to know which, like, this page is nested under which page and how we can get back and all those things. Like we could have a good understanding of like that, where we are in the whole product. User workflow is another thing that our navigation system should support. Like, for example, user want to go back, move from pages to pages, from peer pages, from a branch to the root, and all those things should be supported. Flexibility, like different things that the users need, like different workflows that the users want to do. Like our navigation system should be designed in a way that supports all these different users' requirements. And personalization, like the next level of the design would be like to have our navigation system designed in a way that would be personalized based on what users are doing and where this user is connected from, or if it's a returning user, when this user, or when the user is logged in as a user role. So how we could personalize the navigation system to support the workflows and tasks of these particular user. Okay, so these are all these things that a perfect or good navigation system should support, basically. But the options that we have, one is this breadcrumb. Like we see on top, the left side of pages, like it's kind of a breadcrumb that shows that, okay, now you're here. For example, if you want to go back, you have like this option, or you want to go back to home. So there are different ways to represent breadcrumb. Breadcrumb is a great tool for the purpose of placemaking. Like it shows where you are in, and give you a perspective, like how like how much the detailed level, or the branch that you've been through, and you've got to the page that you are currently in. So you'd be able to go back and go to the next page. So for browsing purpose, for placemaking, is an amazing tool. The other tool that we have is definitely the main menu that shows the global navigation system, like the most important thing that user would start their workflow from should be in our main menu. And we have different ways to represent it. Like the menu items could be on the right, could be in the mid center or left. I definitely wouldn't suggest to have the logo in the middle, because that's not the best practice. Usually the logo of the company or logo of the website should be on the top left side. So yeah, that's not a best practice to put it in the center. And search, usually that doesn't make sense to me as well. Like search usually should be on top right corner. So yeah, so that's why I think it's better to explore all different options that you have for main menu from different UI kits, from different UI libraries, to find the best one that supports what we are trying to do through our app or our digital product. Bottom tab bar is an amazing thing, as an amazing navigation system. Usually serve this global navigation system for mobile apps. Sometimes you could also have this bottom tab bar for web applications, like when based on this media query, it identifies that you are connecting from your mobile device, your smartphone, your tablet. It could change the for example, sidebar into bottom tab bar, and that would be a kind of easy to reach, basically, navigation system. We have tabs. Tabs are navigation system for basically local navigation. Like you have your main menu, you go to a specific page, and there you would be able to see kind of local organization, like local categories, and those local categories or groups would be presented in some tabs, basically. Then we have sidebar. Sidebar are again would be better for global navigation or global nav system, because usually they've been used for that purpose, so everybody would see them, would know that they're part of their global navigation. So we might have different states, like on for example, on tablet we might have this minimized version. On a desktop we might see this expanded version, or sometimes the sidebar would be nested under a hamburger menu, like you click and then it opens this sidebar. We have multi-column nav system, which is usually multi-column would be used as kind of different type of sidebar, and you could see like your global nav system here, and then when you click it would go the next level, and you click goes next level, and that's the way basically you could see different levels of hierarchy at the same time. It helps a lot the user to jump from one sub branch to another branch, and it would give them a great perspective, like how big is the whole application, and this is really good to help the users to understand where they are and where they can go, basically. And we have Stepper as well. Stepper again is a navigation system, but it's more I would say local navigation system. When we have a long form, for example, or many steps to go through, this stepper is an amazing tool. So it shows, like, we could either have like vertical or horizontal stepper. When we create a kind of wizard kind of thing, like step 1, do this. When done, it would be like a check mark. Like we should visually show that part of the work has been done. Now you are here, for example. So basically there are 3 different visuals that we use for each step. Or one is that this part is done, the other part is not. It's a coming part, like you need to go through that step as well, and you need to also show that where they are currently at, like which is the current step. So these are again some examples. Like in different UI libraries, UI kit, you might find a different version, and you can choose from, again, copy paste it into your FigJam file to collect all those different navigation system you would need for different pages, like some local navigation system for some specific pages, some global navigation system for your main pages, and the page everywhere present kind of navigation system. But it's very important to keep consistency. Like when we have tons of choices from different UI kits, UI elements, I would say if you couldn't find something really important that you need from one of those UI elements, let's stick to one UI kit, one UI visual language or UI language, like for example material design or Tailwind, like a specific kind of thing. Or I mean, that would support like choosing a UI kit that have all these things that you need, or most of the things you need, would help you to keep consistency through your design. And that also makes this process of development much easier, because that would be the base, and then your dev team would be able to actually plug and basically use this reusable components into the design, so it would be much easier. Footer is another one, like it's kind of global navigation system with some content that are mainly familiar to our users. Like it's kind of represent a simplified version of your sitemap usually. And yeah, this is kind of more extensive. Like as you can see, you could have many rows, we can have many columns, and like here we have 4 rows, and somewhere like here we have 5 columns. Everything's possible. It depends on the complexity of a product. I don't suggest to go like this complex. Simplicity always is the best, but sometimes you don't have any choice. You need to present lots of information to your user. But it's very important to know that, okay, everything that's part of the global navigation system, like footer, like main menu, these are the elements that are there. Basically are those links or elements that are that might be needed everywhere through your product. That's the reason we put them on your footer or main menu. Pagination is another example for local navigation, and usually when we have a list, when we have a table, so we need some kind of pagination as well. And that's been, I believe, everything that I want to cover here. And these are just some examples. When you create your navigation system, best practice would be to go through different UI kits, UI libraries, to choose those that are more appropriate to your work, put them in your FigJam file. Then when you start designing your prototype, your wireframe, your mid-fidelity design, or high-fidelity design even, then you'd be able to start from something that's already out there, so you don't need to recreate everything. And that would help a lot our development process as well. If you use a reusable product component, basically, then we don't need to pay too much money for our development. We can just copy some of these UI elements, are even our UI libraries, UI kits are open source. Like our dev team could copy and paste the code and everything would be done. So it speeds up everything, both design and development process.